Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day outside. My name is Thelma Scott, and I am the founder of Safe Communities and the Barbara Jordan Endeavor program, and also the Safe Communities radio talk show. Today, I'm so excited. I have some wonderful guests today, and we're going to touch your life today with some information I'm sure that a lot of you out there listening do not know. So this is wonderful. I'm so honored to be here today. Remember, you guys, tomorrow's not promised to any of us, so that's why I'm so blessed to wake up this morning and see this beautiful June the 6th, 11 o'clock of 2025. This time I'll turn over to my wonderful co-host, Dr. Allen. She's going to tell you a little bit about herself. We're going to pass it around to our guest today.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank our beautiful guests for being in the studio with us this morning. I am Dr. Cynthia Allen. I am the CEO and founder of C. Allen Productions Unlimited. I am also a advisory board member to Safe Communities now. Been with Ms. Scott many years. I am also a part of a nonprofit organization, No Sister Left Behind, where we mentor young girls. And also, I am a board member of Sugar Baby 24 Hours Crisis Hotline, where we help women and children with domestic violence. And I also partner with a radio station out of Nacogdoches, Texas, where we salute and we honor Black History Month trailblazers that are doing a lot in the community. And also, I have an upcoming event coming July the 11th. I will be speaking on a Black wealth, insurance, investments, wills, and probates. I will be one of the speakers because I am a licensed insurance agent. And December, I will be coordinating Texas Music and Community Service Awards, which will be in Stafford, Texas. You will be hearing more of that in the months to come. But that's just a little bit about who I am and what I do.
All righty.
Okay.
Hello. Good morning. Thank you for having me. My name is Dominic Chacon. I'm the Houston Regional Coordinator with an organization called Texas Campaign for the Environment. And super grateful to be here to have a conversation about an upcoming event that's happening in Brazoria County this weekend. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm Gina Beekman, and I'm in Third Act, Texas. I'm here in Houston, and I'm also in Extinction Rebellion Houston. And I'm also here to talk about the Freeport LNG explosion remembrance that's happening this Sunday, June 8th.
All righty. Thank you, Gina. Okay, Mr. Rodney, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rodney Brown. I'm based out of San Antonio, and I am Earthworks Texas Gulf Coast campaigner. It's an honor to be here among so many incredible people who do so many wonderful things in our community. And I'm also here to lend a voice about just like upcoming campaigns and events around delaying the expansion of oil and gas infrastructure in our communities.
All right. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit about it, but I just want to let you guys know today is a very important day to all of us. Should be to everyone out there listening, because we have lost a lot of people due to the LNG, right? So I'm going to let Don take it away and kind of tell you what we're doing, because Sunday is going to be a very important day. And if you're not there, it's going to be live, I think. Listen, if you're not there, listen so you can learn about what's going on. I know that we can't ever get rid of the pollution that's going on, but we can also hold them accountable to follow the rules and regulations, right? Because it's killing a lot of us. So we need to know what's going on in our community and what's around us, and how we can be able to take care of ourselves better if we know what's around us. Okay, Don, you can take it away.
Thank you so much for having us again and for hosting these conversations, because it's really a lot to unpack sometimes, and we need to get in there. And so I guess I'll kind of context a little bit about what LNG is and why we're against it, and the vision we're hoping.
What LNG is.
Yeah.
I may not know what that acronym is.
Exactly, alphabet soup. Okay. LNG stands for liquefied natural gas, and contrary to its name, there's nothing natural about it. Mm-hmm. It's a byproduct of oil and gas and petrochemical manufacturing, takes up a lot of energy, and uses uses or creates a lot of pollution. I can go through a bunch of chemical names, but I don't want to confuse anybody. But generally, we are against this because it is directly harming our communities, and it creates what we in the environmental community organizing call an environmental injustice. And an injustice is just talking about, even if you step away about whether you like oil and gas or don't like oil and gas, and you want to make the argument that it's necessary, we'll start there. And but even if it is necessary and everybody uses it, not everybody deals with the impacts of it. Not everybody lives next to the pollution, right? And so that disproportionate impact creates an inequality to those communities who have to live right next to it and deal with it directly. And if it's something everybody benefits, then everybody should bear the burden, right? So that's what we kind of try to speak against. And specifically with liquefied natural gas, it's been sort of marketed as this new fuel, more energy efficient, but the opposite is true. And specifically, if you're from the Gulf Coast, you're no stranger to industry, you're no stranger to these facilities. But liquefied natural gas is relatively new in these sorts of industries. And in 2022, there was a huge explosion at a natural gas or a liquefied natural gas facility in Freeport, Texas. It was a huge explosion, completely unexpected. Thank goodness nobody got hurt and nobody lost their lives, but there's still a lot of negative impacts that to this day we're still uncovering, right? The reports are still coming out. And so we are hosting an event along with community members out in Brazoria County to honor the anniversary, to kind of bring awareness, to remind people that this risk is still there, the risk of another explosion is still there, and to also expose some of the ways in which we can resist and organize against a future incident, and also to hold those in charge accountable. One of the other things we do in my organization is we talk about the sort of funding of these industries. And one of the really interesting things in Brazoria County is, like, contrary to popular belief, everybody believes that these industries put their own money into these facilities and then they just get the profits back. The opposite is true. These facilities are getting public dollars in the form of tax abatements. And in Freeport, Texas, Freeport LNG, they are receiving about $1.1 billion in foregone tax dollars. And so basically the way that works is they go to school districts, the counties and cities and say, hey, we want a discount to our property taxes, and where everybody else here has to pay their property taxes year after year. These industries get special discounts. And the way it's kind of described as why we should give them these discounts is because they're bringing jobs to the region, right? We always hear, but what would we do without them? Because they bring money, they bring jobs. But these reports kind of show the contrary information. In 2023, we did a study in Brazoria County and found that the county-wide is giving about $2.1 billion away in tax dollars, and half of those are going directly to Freeport LNG. And when they applied for these jobs, they basically promised 188 jobs, which seems like a lot of jobs, right? But when you divide it by how much they got and how many jobs they promised, it comes out to $5.9 million per job. And we all know those workers are not getting paid even close to that in their lifetime at the company, right? And so it begs the question, is this really to benefit the community? Is this really bringing back tax revenues or economic prosperity? And so we are on the side that it doesn't. And we believe that there's a strong way that the community can reclaim those tax dollars and apply them to the things we do need, like parks and waste management and housing, roads, flooding, hurricane preparedness. The list is extensive. And then the interesting aspect of these taxes as well is they come from different tax sources. So we have the counties giving away tax dollars, we have cities giving away tax dollars, and I think the most egregious is we have school districts giving away tax dollars. And if you're in Texas, you're anywhere in Texas, you're aware that all of our schools are struggling right now to find the revenue to pay teachers, to keep schools open, to feed our kids, our future generations. And so we feel really strongly that when people know this information and are organized, we can fight back and we will win. Yeah. Thank you.
Let me ask you a question too. I understand that, but why do they put these plants and things in residential areas? Because the fumes, a lot of people are developing cancer, a lot of diseases, and they can't smell the fumes. But why do they put them in residential? Do they have an option, or do they have to be in residential areas? Because I do know you said, Ms. Scott, you were saying that there's one over there in where you live.
Yeah.
So why do they put them there? And like when they have those major explosions out of those chemical plants, the fumes are going into the air. So how does that affect the community, and what can be done about that?
That's a great question. To answer, you kind of have to look at the history of these industries, and once you do, you'll kind of realize that there's a lot of historical racism tied to it. The environmental justice movement and environmental racism movement sort of came out of the Bullard Center. There's a lot of history there that they expose that there's a reason why these industries exist predominantly in the South and predominantly in communities of color, Black, Brown, Indigenous, poor communities, mainly because it was easier to develop in those communities. They really believe that there's not a lot of resistance versus, a more well-to-do community would have the means to fight back and to organize. But another important aspect is that a lot of these like products, LNG, other petrochemicals, are really not even for American use. They're being exported. And so these industries are making billions of dollars every year polluting our communities and exporting this product that we produce to other countries, to other areas all across the world. So part of the reason why they're all along the Gulf Coast is for exports specifically. And so there's a lot of different little nuances for each industry. You'll see also in the Houston Ship Channel, that's why you see all these petrochemical, and they're continuously expanding. So in Freeport specifically, there was a community there, right? If you go today to downtown Freeport, you see it is just neglected, abandoned, and these communities that once were thriving are now neglected and suffering from this pollution. So there is it's not benign neglect. It's not on accident that these industries ended up there. It's by design, and it's really for the sole purpose of making as much money as possible. Mm-hmm.
It's really sad that they're making them off of the poor people, because we went on an environmental justice tour, and actually what you're saying is 100% true, because the places in the areas that we were, they were like in the Black and the Hispanic areas, and people have been there for years and years. But then there's also schools there. So that means the kids are being exposed to these toxic waste and these toxic chemicals. So I just don't understand why they're doing that. Yeah.
Also, Texas has like very
Go ahead.
yeah, Texas has very lax zoning laws, and so
Yeah, I
like they
just
don't
wanna say
have
that.
laws that say
Right.
okay, if you build a facility
Kind of talk a
here,
little bit in there if I can hear you. Okay.
yeah, Texas doesn't have laws that say like if you build your facility here, it has to be so far away from schools or away from homes. And so yeah, like it's really important to talk to your local legislator, your city
Right.
council people, and begin to develop those relationships where you can begin to talk to just those decision makers and people in power about divesting from industry, because industry has also just like permeated into every aspect of our society, from our schools to the teachers' pensions. It's really hard to like find a place where the oil and gas lobby like doesn't have influence. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, Gina.
Yes, I
let them know who you are.
I've been. I'm Gina.
Okay, go ahead.
Third
Gina.
act. Yeah, I've been down to where the Freeport LNG is. I went for the first anniversary, and there's a child's playground right near there.
Right.
People are living right near there.
Right near there.
When the explosion happened in 2022, there was not, the people in the neighborhood were not told that it happened.
Right.
But it was so strong that it shook the ground, and it shook a lifeguard right off his stand.
Oh,
So,
okay. Right, okay.
they know. And despite the claim that the damage was completely within the boundaries of the facility,
Right.
the contaminants that were released were in a vapor cloud explosion and fire. And that's
Right.
not something that can be isolated within the bounds of the facility.
Right. Okay. And that means a lot because a lot of people I'm knowing right now don't even remember the explosion, right? So that's why we're trying to educate them about the explosion because they live right there. People in Missouri kind of don't even know in 2022 that was an explosion. That was a Freeport LNG explosion. So that's why we remembering this to help people to understand what's around you and what you're breathing in every day, right? Because that's important to know. And they have a voice for a lot of my people. I'm going to say this, that live in Missouri County. I have quite a few family members that live there. They feel like they don't have a voice. But I'm telling you today, you do have a voice, and numbers count. Come together so we can fight them, so we can hold them to their contract and hold them to the rules and regulations, because they do break it a lot, right? And we don't have statistics with us today about because they've done a lot, right? So it's important that you understand and you know about what's going on in your community, what can affect you, your health, and your kids' health. That's so important. Okay, Don.
Yeah, so I want to take this time to invite everybody. If you're listening and you're in Brazoria County or you know some people out in Brazoria County family, there's going to be an event this Sunday at the Quintana Town Hall. There's going to be...
Say it a little bit slow so they can know.
Sure thing. And there's the Quintana City Hall in Quintana, Texas, which is in Brazoria County. There's going to be an event this Sunday, June 8th at 1 o'clock. And this is going to be led by organizers and organizations in Brazoria County to make sure that the public remembers, make sure that they know, and also to update on some of the slowly coming out the reports, right? We learned that when this explosion happened, they were short-staffed. They didn't have all the people that they claim they're bringing these jobs, but they don't have the people to actually make it function. And when it comes to all the volatile organic compounds, the sulfur dioxide, all these carcinogenic chemicals that have short-term and long-term consequences. So we're having an event this Sunday. We want it to be substantive, but we also want it to be empowering. Like you said, not just in Brazoria County, but in Harris County, all across the Gulf Coast, people are feeling helpless. People are feeling like powerless. And so we want to come together and remind them that when we are together, we are very powerful. And when we come together, we are reminded that we are worth the fight, even if it feels an uphill battle, even if it feels like we will not win or see the benefits of our fight in our generation, it is still worth it. And once you know your worth, nobody can take that away, right? Once you recognize that, better is possible, you will fight for what is better. So we want to have that event to inform people, but also to inspire people, because we are what's going to look out for each other in this future. And yeah, I don't know if anybody else has anything to add.
I would just say that the town hall is at 814 Lamar Street.
Yeah.
77501.
Say it a little slowly so they can know where it is.
814.
Let them know that it's in Freeport. It's in Missouri County, but it's not in Angleton. It's in Freeport. Okay,
Right.
go ahead.
814 Lamar Street. And the zip is 77541. Sometimes I see it as Quintana and sometimes Freeport, but I think it's in Quintana.
It's Quintana. It's
Yeah.
Quintana Beach.
Quintana.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rodney.
Oh yeah. The only thing that I wanted to say was I'm looking forward to just like being in community with some of those frontline organizations that have brought awareness to Freeport LNG, as well as like other petrochemical facilities
Right.
in the area, just like that build out. And yeah, like this isn't a sprint; it's a marathon,
Right.
and so like we are going to have to continuously engage community members, decision makers, as well as some of these oil and gas companies, to let them know that like there are other alternatives to
Right.
LNG.
Right.
There are safe ways to bring economic as well as like energy sustainability to our region.
That's very, very important. Thank you, Rodney. And the reason this is so important to me because Brazoria County is my home. I grew up there, right? So and I had a lot of health issues because I grew up in Angleton near the railroad tracks. But it's so important for not me to know, but I feel like it's important to me to educate my family, to let them know what's going on. I know my niece lives right in Freeport, and she died in 2022. She died. She had cancer. She had been there, and now her kids live there. They live right there near the plants, and they deal with a lot of health issues and asthma and all that. So important to educate them to know what's going on and what the pollution, because people, they may not know what ozone is, what methane is, what these gas things is, and they need to know what they are to expect them. And listen, because every month, this month I'll be doing a show every month. Every Monday I'll be doing a show, and every month I'll be doing a show. And July as well. But every Monday we'll be talking about our coordinator for our LNG is Sandra Scott. So Sandra will be talking about, along with me, we'll be talking about what's going on throughout the summer. And we're praying and hoping that we can get together. We're trying to work on getting to have 2 more of our solidarity tours to be able to educate a lot more of the people in the community. We have quite a few. I have at least about 175 autism moms that I work with on a monthly basis, and they need to be educated because they don't know anything about environment and climate justice. So we want to try to get together and have those 2 solidarity tours because they are ready. We just got to get the funding to be able to do it because it's so important that you know, because we perish by the lack of knowledge. And I want to give them that knowledge because they look at Mama Scott as a mentor. And I need to mentor them so they can know what's going on with all of their kids that they deal with. They not only have autism, they have a lot of other health issues. So it's so important that they know. So I'm saying today again, listen into the show. I'm going to let Don and I'm going to let Jen and Rodney going to continue to give y'all the address for y'all can be there because it's very important that you show up on June 8th at 1 o'clock. Show up and let's show out.
Yeah.
How about it? Okay?
Definitely.
Yes, and there's going to be there's going to be a little barbecue. One of our orgs out there is going to be cooking up a great food. We're also going to have some veterans groups out there talking about what they're doing for the environment, how they're, protecting our home for future generations in a different front, right? Versus the wars abroad versus the battles we have to fight here. There's also statewide groups coming together because while this might be happening in Brazoria, this is a statewide issue, and we have to really show what we call solidarity. And I love that you brought up solidarity rides because the solidarity rides are kind of meant to be kind of a continuation of the freedom rides of the civil rights movement, right? Sometimes you need to show up in these communities and see with your own eyes what is happening, because you can hear us talk about it, you can hear us describe how big these industries are, but it's not until you're there and seeing the playground right next to these facilities and hearing the testimonies of people who saw the explosion, felt the explosion, are dealing with all the aftermath of not knowing what to do. It's a really powerful experience. So if you get to come down to the event on June 8th, we'll definitely plug you into one of our many upcoming solidarity rides so that you can continue to learn. And I'm hoping that those who do show up, we call them solidarity rides because we like to be there in solidarity and ideally bring some offering to the community. So if you come, you bring yourself, you're showing solidarity, and you're empowering yourself with the information that you need to organize and fight against it. And there's a wealth of knowledge. There's a wealth of people of all different ages, races, identities, that we could be building power together. It's both heartbreaking, but very inspiring as well, because we have to come together in these times, especially right now, right? We're dealing with terrorists, we're dealing with all kinds of pressures and things. And so in my mind, what I tell people who do feel hopeless is, I understand and want to validate it. It is very overwhelming, right? You're not crazy for thinking that or feeling that. However, if we can move the needle here in a state like Texas, think of the residual impacts. Think of what it would do, not just for our communities, but for other communities across the globe, really. And the thing with Texas, too, is we're in a really unique opportunity, because while we are oil and gas heavy, we are also pretty heavy in renewable energies. And our state is in this moment of like, where are we going to invest our money? Where are we going to invest our capacity? And we can either go the route we've been on to continue to harm communities and continue to invest in these industries that even if we assume that they're necessary, right? We assume, sure, oil and gas, you can't replicate it. Then we should be conserving it for future generations. If it is such an important fuel and resource, why are we burn, baby, burn, for the sake of money? We could still have that if we need it, while also investing in renewable energies and being a leader in that. That could be the future that we give our future generations. And so I hope that people recognize that this is an opportunity, and that all we have to do is dare to dream, dare to imagine, and dare to love each other continuously, unconditionally. And a better world is absolutely possible. So, yeah.
Mr. Rodney, can you tell us some of the organizations that's coming together, putting this on for Sunday? Can you tell us a little bit about organizations that's going to be helping with this?
So, there are a handful of incredible organizations who have come together for this. So there is Better Brazoria, who has done incredible work in the region. Freeport Haven, Climate Conversations. Over the last few months, all three, including Safe Communities, have come together to raise awareness around the permitting process for this infrastructure. And so in order for different pipelines, different petrochemical infrastructure to be built, they need to get permits from not only the EPA, but TCEQ. And so they're able to get air as well as water permits through these different organizations. And so those frontline organizations have come together to inform community members about just like this process to help stop and slow down this infrastructure.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about the OGI camera that will be there at the event on Sunday, but we can know more about it? Because I know there's plan, the Safe Communities is planning on getting them to come to Kirkendall in 1960 and be able to help us out there. But tell them a little bit about that OGI camera.
Yeah,
they need to know about it.
The OGI camera, let's see, the acronym is Optical Gas Imaging.
Say that again. If anybody listening, what he said, OGI is what?
Optimal gas imaging.
Okay.
And so basically there are a lot of invisible gases that are being emitted from these facilities that we can't detect with our eyes.
Can't see it. You can't see it. It's clear.
Yeah.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes they use flaring, whereas like you'll be driving down the highway and you'll see like a huge flame coming out of like a chute.
Right.
And so a lot of that, like we can see them like burning off like extra fuel. But there are other emissions that this OGI cameras helps for us to see. And so it picks up like methane and some other gases.
That's good. Okay, Gina, you want to add to that?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, at least we think that we're not affected by LNGs.
Right.
The methane that it puts out is much more lasting and much more powerful as a greenhouse gas. It's 28 times as potent as carbon dioxide at trapping heat in the atmosphere.
Right.
So over the last 2 centuries, methane concentrations in the atmosphere has more than doubled.
Right.
And yet our leadership in the U.S. is pushing us to do more methane.
Right.
At lea-
Gina, can you read that? Anyone out there, listen, can you read that again? Listen.
Yeah.
You need to listen to what
Yeah.
she's saying.
Well,
about the
methane, which is LNG puts out methane,
Right.
is more than 28 times as potent as carbon dioxide at trapping heat in the atmosphere. And so we don't need that.
Right.
We have renewables like you were talking about. Renewables are less expensive, they're
Right.
safer, they're
Right.
faster to put up.
Right.
When they build these LNGs or they expand them, it takes years.
Right.
How do they know they're going to have clients at the end of those years
Right.
that want to buy it?
Right. That's so important. Okay, Don.
And on that point too is we, because these are funded by public dollars, we have every right to determine how they spend it, right? And so when they're using public dollars, when something goes wrong, the public bears the risk, right? The public bears the loss. But when they make money, public does not see a dollar of those benefits. To Gina's point, these facilities take years to build, take years to export, and they're kind of predetermining who's going to be buying and who's going to be selling. And with these tariff wars that we have going on right now, all of that is creating this instability in the market. And so that's both detrimental, but also an opportunity for us to show that we can have more reliable energy sources that are less harmful and that actually will produce economic prosperity. Because everything that they're trying to export are going to be changing price-wise to the countries we're exporting to, and then also to not to kind of like stoke sort of international hostility, but a lot of times we're selling these chemicals, LNG, to countries that are not always in alignment with the United States, right? And so we have to figure out how we put our communities first, take care of ourselves, and again, even if you assume that this is necessary, then we need to be compensating the communities that are having to deal with the brunt of this, right? That conversation is already a bit problematic, right? Because what dollar amount would you put on your child's health, right? What dollar amount would you put for your community's ability to sustain itself, fishing or clean air, clean water, right? That is already problematic, but we have to address the inequality not only in health, but in finances. And again, I think another aspect to this is that these consequences, while we might see the immediate explosion, we might see the immediate impacts, there are other long-term impacts that we are not going to see in our lifetimes, right? And so we need to be thinking way beyond just the fiscal year, right? The dollar amount, how much are we going to make at the end of this fiscal year? We need to be thinking in the sort of a native philosophy of 7 generations, right? We need to be planning our societies, our communities to benefit 7 generations from today. And so, yeah.
Let me just say something too. I just want to thank each of you all for sharing this information because I am learning so much. I mean, I didn't realize how much I really didn't know and understand about this. I just knew that people were getting sick. You know, they so much chemical. Yeah, my husband worked for 40 years out at Shell in Deer Park, and I noticed one of the things out there when they leave, usually within 5 or 6 years, they develop some type of cancer because all the fumes that they have had to inhale. And then even in the communities where we live, it's so much. I mean, I know so many people that have allergies. Could that be a result from a lot of this? We don't know. Yeah. So I just I thank you all for sharing this information.
Thank you. And that's the other thing. It's like we're not here to be an enemy of the industry.
Right.
Like you said, like there are people who work there 40, 50 years, and when it's time for them to retire, they don't even benefit from all the hard work that has like taken place. And so it's like we have people who are from the industry who actually like organize with us because
Right.
they understand too that like workers don't get like their proper due or
Right.
just like their fair share with this, and they take on a lot of the risk. Yeah.
And really, when we export natural gas, LNG, what we end up doing is paying more here.
Right.
Because when the explosion happened, the plant closed, the price of gas in the U.S. dropped. and it plummeted 16% by the end of that day when the explosion happened.
Okay.
So we're paying more when we export it.
Right, when we export.
And what benefit are we getting?
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that it's not benefiting us at all. Right. So, but they don't know. Average person will not know this. That's why we have to educate them. Only our VIP people that know is really into the environment, climate change know this. But the average person that's dying, our low to moderate income families, our people with disabilities, our senior citizens, people that's dying, they don't know this. So it's important that we get the word out, that we educate them about what's going on in the community. And this is not helping us. It's really killing us right now. But I kind of educate my families that's in my program, my students, that it's your right to breathe clean air, drink clean water, and live in a healthy and safe environment. That's our right.
And just a couple weeks ago, there was another incident in another facility in Brazoria where they had a chlorine gas leak. And the sort of twisted thing about this is like these industries will claim that they're safe, will claim that they have all their, I's dotted and T's crossed and make sure that the community's safe. But this chlorine gas explosion was a perfect example because there's no alarm system, there's no notification. And so there was people who were walking to Walmart but were kept from going inside because there was a shelter in place. But they have no idea. They're trying to get into the Walmart. Walmart will let them in because they know. And but also we're hearing from workers who were locked in the facility when the chlorine gas happened. And so it's a couple of people are hospitalized. And again, these have short and long-term impacts. And so, and then to the workers' point too, this tax study, we want to let workers know that we are on your side, right? We want to help get you to work in a safer environment with still all the benefits that you have. But currently, you're being named as a beneficiary to these tax abatements, right? They're saying we're going to give these to the workers. But the reality is when they do bring these jobs, they're usually short-term construction jobs, right? And when there are long-term, full-time positions, usually they're hiring people from outside the communities to come in and to run those facilities. So who is really benefiting and who is really getting the short end of the deal?
Yeah. And again, like at a time when we're bringing awareness to this explosion of the Trump administration, more specifically the pipeline and hazardous material safety administration, they're trying to just like loosen the rules around LNG. At least like the safety regulations. And so it's like if this does happen, then like there will be more explosions like the Freeport LNG explosions. There will be like more opportunities for the industry to not be accountable. Even with the leak that Dom is talking about, Dow Chemical, they're trying to separate themselves from the leak. They're saying like, oh, like this wasn't our facility. This is actually a tenant of ours, Olgen, or something like that.
Right.
But it's like they're all connected, and the people who are primarily like impacted by it when these things happen, like there's no accountability, there's no compensation, there's no fines for the industry, there are just like no restitution, and so people are being left with just like extensive like medical injuries as well as expenses like due to this, and so we want to put an end to it.
Right. Gina, before we close out, I'll make an announcement for Safe Communities, but I want you to give the address out again for Sunday. Address again out for people listening. Okay.
Yes, Sunday, June 8th, 1 p.m. at Katana Town Office, which is 814 Lamar Street.
Zip code.
Zip code 77541. Hope to see you all there.
Okay. If anyone have it's in my phone, but she has a mailing number. If anyone need any information, number for them to call. Hold on. Okay.
Sure. The phone number is 979-481-2723. And that's the number for Melanie Oldham, who's one of the organizers or leading Better Brazoria, an organization out there. Again, the number is 979-481-2723. 2723. So if you have any questions about what's going to be happening, or even if you not going to be able to make the event and want to get plugged into the work that they're doing, go ahead and give Melanie a call, shoot her a text. But also you can check out Better Brazoria's website and socials as well.
Please do. I want to say a little bit about Melanie. I serve on the board for Better Brazoria, and I have learned, even though that's where I grew up and all, but I have learned so much from Melanie Odom and the Better Brazoria team. Learned so much to help me to educate my family there, and they're helping to do that. So that's very, very important to me. This is dear to my heart to be there on Sunday, to be able to remembering what happened, and we're praying that this won't happen again. But you have to be educated and be ready to be able to help yourself, know how to take care of yourself if this happens again. So it's very, very important that we come out and celebrate, not celebrate, that word. We just say remembering what happened in Freeport in 2022.
Also to get knowledge.
Oh, go ahead.
You know, for things that you don't know, you know, if you don't know. And I would encourage all the surrounding towns, anybody that's near a plant, or just anywhere, don't have to even be there, Houston or wherever, Shell, Deer Park, you know, all those, wherever there's plants, I would just encourage people to, like I'm saying, I'm getting knowledge today. Equip yourself with knowledge so you will know how to act accordingly. Then you'll understand a lot why things are happening in the communities. Because if you don't know, you know, you don't know what you don't know. So I would encourage everybody that can to come out on Sunday and just stand, like you say, in solidarity and just be a part of this wonderful movement.
Yeah, and Better Brazoria Air and Water, they also monitor that facility and other facilities in the area, which is good because they don't always, they're very opaque, let's just say.
Right.
These are
Yes,
these
okay.
companies.
All right. We want to thank everyone for listening. We've got a couple of announcements. It is that Safe Communities, we are having our event on August 2nd. We're inviting everybody because it's a free event. We're hoping all of the environmental organizations can come out and support us because we have about 42 students that need scholarship money. So our radio shows are for us to raise money for our students to go to college. And these students are being educated, and it's one of their criteria. They have to do an essay and tell us about what they learned about environmental and climate justice. That's once a month. And they get paid to do that. So I love it because they challenge each other. Want to know who's going to be the 8 people that's going to be honored to $25 a month for doing their essay, right? So this is to educate them because our kids just learn so much. I have kids in the program say, oh no, I want to change my major. Now I want to be an environmental engineer because I'm learning so much. So it's about education because they perish by the lack of knowledge. Our program is a one-stop shop, you guys. Kids can grow up in our program. They're from kindergarten to college. I have our kids that called the little dreamers. She'll say, oh, I want to breathe clean air, Miss Scott. Yeah. I want to drink clean water. Yes. Yeah. At the little age, the 5, 6 year old, they know they're supposed to drink clean water, breath clean air, live in a healthy and safe environment. You start them out young. So when they get in high school and college, then they know we're going to become an advocate for environmental and climate justice. That's so important. So it's going to be August 8th from 11 to 2:30, and we're going to have a lot going on. We're going to have entertainment everywhere. Everything's going on, you guys. And you know Sandra Scott going to have what, Rodney? What you gonna have out there?
Boots on the ground.
She gonna have. They're gonna be doing boots on the ground. You ask Miss Scott what the fans said. I said I don't know. Listen.
August the 8th is going to be August the 2nd.
I mean, August the 2nd, and guess August 11th, 2:30, and guess what? I saw last time you wasn't there.
Yes, I will.
No, you wasn't there out there
For Sarah Week?
when Sarah Week. Guess what? Don know how to do it. Boots on the ground.
I'm gonna pull up my fan right now.
Shout out to the 44.
I was gonna pull up my fan for the line dance. Yeah, we had I know. Right? Where is my fan? I think that's such an important element to what we're trying to build, right? Because we cannot just show up in our outrage, right? We can't just show up in our it is outrageous that we have to even be fighting for clean air and clean water. That young kids like that have to make that claim, right? It should just be given. But we also want to create spaces where we can find joy and we can find community and we can remind each other that, you know what, we're worth the fight. And so if you feel like this information is overwhelming, it's okay. That's a really normal response. But we want to encourage you that we're fun people too. We do line dancing. We have some choir. We have arts. We bring puppets. We bring all kinds of little moments to inspire us. So, and if you have any skills you want to bring, any talents you want to share, we welcome it. We want to see you line dancing with us and sharing your talents. So please show up.
So yes, I just want to say, if anybody want to be a part of the line dance and want to come on August 2nd from 11 to 2:30, you need to contact Sandra Scott. Okay, Sandra Scott, and have her email. I'm sure you know it. They're gonna be doing the boots on the ground, and guess what? I'm gonna be running around there and say, "What the fans at?" Right. What the fans at? It's wonderful. I would like to. This is been not usually a day that we have a show, but I do want to thank Mr. Mahd Khan and Seema Khan for allowing me to have this show. They sponsor this show for me every month, and now they're going to be doing it every week. So thank you guys so much, Mr. Mike Khan and Miss Seema Khan.
Thank you.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to do this show. Because remember the LNG explosion is very important to us, and I hope it's important to the community. If you listen today, please come out on Sunday, June the 8th at 1 o'clock and be a part of our program. You're going to learn so much, and you're going to be amazed. Right? But thank you again. We'll see you at the same time on Monday from 11 to 12. We are celebrating Father's Day. And we're going to have State Representative Ron Reynolds going to be here introducing our fathers. Going to be honoring them with their state certificates. So I'm so excited about Monday. We have about, I'm going to ask Ms. Johnson. We have 42 amazing dads we're going to be honoring.
That's incredible.
On Monday and on the 16th. We can't do them all on one show, so we kind of split it up. We're going to do the 9th, and on the 16th, we'll be honoring our fathers. Also, on the 23rd, we're going to be, if you know of anyone that's recovering from cancer that's a survivor, June is National Cancer Survivor Month. So on the 23rd, we're going to be honoring our cancer survivor, and guess what, you guys? I'm one of them, right? So I'm so blessed. Two time survivor. So I'm going to be one of them. So if you want to know about that, you can contact Miss Johnson, as always, at 832-654-2737. That's if you would like to be on our show and be honored for being a cancer survivor. Call that number, 832-654-2737. Okay, everybody going to say something. We're going to say it last. They're going to say the name of their organization one more time. Okay? Okay, Don?
You can find us at texasenvironment.org. We're a statewide organization all across Texas, so please hit us up. We do finance research, we do grassroots organizing, and we also do some direct actions and civil disobedience, because that's a muscle we got to exercise too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Gina, go ahead.
I'm Gina Beekman, and I'm with Third Act Texas, which just started in Texas in June, and we're going strong. It's focused on 60 plus. Because that's our third act of life, and we have time, and we have grandchildren that we want to protect, so we're in it. And also I'm in Extinction Rebellion, Houston. Extinction Rebellion is all over the world, and Houston, we're working hard at protests and at different events to make sure that people are aware of the climate crisis.
All right. Okay, Mr. Rodney.
Thank you again for this opportunity. Again, I'm Rodney Brown with Earthworks, and you can find us at earthworks.org. A lot of the work that we do is around researching oil and gas infrastructure, mining, as well as providing programmatic support for our frontline community members. So again, thank you so much.
Just wanted to say I love you. Radiodabang love you. Safe Community love you. And guess what? All of us say what?
We love
it
you.
ain't nothing you can do about it. Hey.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.